I was always captivated by crows ever since I was a kid. Growing up very, very young, I remember having a fascination of how they always just seemed to have an intelligence about them, and they always seemed to look at you differently than other birds looked at you. They seemed to be curious. So we're with Canuck right now at the rookery. You can see all the crows flying in and settling in for the night. Then even when the movie The Crow came out, I still remember that scene where Eric Draven is walking towards the open broken window and the crow flies up behind him and lands on his shoulder, and he just seamlessly continues to keep walking. And I thought, how cool would that be to have a crow just come and land on your shoulder and just keep walking like nothing happened. And here it happens now virtually every day.
Crow lives in the area, and he has a story that started when, as a baby, he fell out of a nest and was nursed back to health. But when he was released, he didn't want to leave East Van.
Canuck was originally found by my landlord's son, and my landlord's son raised him and released him back into the wild. And I happened to be there on the day of release. I walked over and hoped that he would hop on my arm, not actually thinking he would, and he just took a look at me and hopped up on my arm, and that was how we met and started our friendship.
So how are you liking your first experience at the range? No, you don't like it? You know, are you getting kind of soaked out here? Have you been in a bit of a crappy mood today because of it?
I live in East Vancouver, and typically I'm out of the house by 7 in the morning. Canuck usually lands on the railing right outside my door. He'll follow me to the bus stop and generally wait with me at the bus stop. And I will spend every moment I can with him.
A friendship with an animal is absolutely honest. It's just an honest, pure bond that I don't think once you have with an animal, it's ever broken.
He is so thrilled that this little Canuck crow has taken to him and that, and he can't get enough of Canuck.
And I'd like to believe on some kind of level that, Canuck said, well, of all these human beings, I will choose that one.
You've seen crows everywhere, but when you get this crow right beside you, it's a different perspective.
I think it's a unique story where a wild animal's made friends with a human, and I think that's intriguing because it just doesn't happen every day. No words are said between the two of us, but it's a huge amount of therapy, and it's something that got me through a really, really hard time.
Stephen 1 was bike riding through the neighborhood when a crow took a liking to his backpack. Stephen whipped out his phone and shot the wild encounter.
There it goes again.
I still can't believe how the story in itself went viral. That has to be the origin of Canuck in the media. And the title of the video was Crow Attacks Cyclist.
This crow is literally trying to get on me.
All it was a video of Canuck interacting with a cyclist.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
He's curious about the reflective strip on the guy's backpack.
Holy.
But it turned into this whole thing where I started reading the comments, and the comments were very negative.
Look. This is crazy, and this man's just looking at me.
Everyone just followed suit and just instantly thought, okay, this is an attack video. I'm going to make a comment in response to it being an attack. And it was just a constant barrage of horrible, horrible things that people would have done to that crow if they would have been put in that situation. So that's why the Facebook page was created, to create awareness about him, that he's in the neighborhood. This is where you might run into him. Don't be alarmed, don't be scared, and above all else, he's not attacking you. And I started the Facebook page just for the awareness.
That Facebook page is great because you've got the input from all of his fans that have had encounters with him, their keys being stolen, and I love the stories, the antics, the videos. You really sort of get a perspective of how many people absolutely love and adore that crow.
There's all sorts of videos on YouTube, and people will send me a message and go, you should check out this video of Canuck. And I even saw one just recently where he was at Hastings Racetrack where they have the horse races, and he's stealing their tickets. And with Canuck being so unique, he's obviously going to attract a lot of attention, especially, you know, showing up in different places where a wild crow would not necessarily be expected to show up. There's been just so many different adventures that he's had.
Hey, Canuck, go, buddy! No, don't! Canuck, no, those are my smokes! Come here! Those are my full pack of smokes!
He will steal something from you, especially if you're letting your guard down. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
In a day, if you sit down and watch a video like that, it puts a big smile on your face. And he puts a lot of effort in for other people's enjoyment.
Every second of my downtime is pretty much posting stuff to the page, answering questions, especially with the live videos now. Like, I get so much more personal with people that way. And that's where I'm showing people and telling the story about it. Before I was completely unknown, and now I will see people that I know that know Canuck and that I've been introduced to through Canuck. All right.
Hi, Canuck. I have a Rocky, an umbrella cockatoo. Pleased to meet you. That is so special. Your little friend.
The smile I seen on Shawn will never leave my mind. Shawn was glowing.
Now it's rare that I can actually have a silent walk from my door to Tim Hortons and back.
I challenge anybody to hang out with any animal, especially a crow riding along in your car and be in a bad mood. And we'll drive around and around and around, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 40 minutes. I drive my car around for 40 minutes because a crow is having fun. And I see Canuck and Shawn's Facebook page changing a lot of people's opinions on crows, one person at a time.
I've made sure that I have a write-up on the Facebook page explaining where Canuck's backstory originates, when he was approximately born and released, and where he came from, what the leg band means. It's not an ankle monitor, it's not a tracking device, it is simply an orange zip tie. And that meme has been everywhere. I've seen it on celebrities' Twitter pages and Instagram pages, and I had that thought, well, he's reached a different plateau, he's reached a different level now.
Shawn and I began working together in May of last year. That's how I heard of Canuck first. And we decided that we would have a show for the crow. I've had purchasers from all over the United States, Canada, England. The response has been unbelievable. He's just such a character. Everybody knows him. And especially the 2 tweets from Ice-T and Snoop Dogg. It's fantastic.
We had been talking about how the art show was coming up, but we needed some kind of publicity for the show. And just jokingly, Jen and I were talking about it at work and said, I'll talk to Canuck tonight and get him to do something. We'll get some media coverage. And that night I saw him and just nonchalantly just mentioned, we got this art show coming up, can you go out and do something wild and crazy? And 2 days later, he stole the knife from the crime scene.
We are talking about a crow that's accused of flying away with a knife from a crime scene. Police were called to the scene of a burning car. There, they say that they were confronted by a man who had a knife.
The crow, which police say is notorious in East Vancouver, dropped the knife and was given a pen instead to keep it busy while they investigated.
I didn't think it was going to get that kind of publicity. And the page jumped by 15,000 people in a day and a half. I woke up to about 50 emails on the Facebook page from different news agencies all over the world. And the first one I opened up was from CBS New York and People Magazine and NBC New York, and just one after another. Like, I never would have expected that it would have gotten to that.
I said this is the tipping point for how far he's going to reach out across the world now.
This type of a world is very, very uncommon for an introvert to be part of. I've never really wanted the spotlight, but I sort of have had to take on that role because of the success of the Facebook page. Whenever anything unexpected happens, there's always great concern for him. I do have to be careful because one day I just nonchalantly made a comment about how, oh, I didn't see Canuck this morning, I guess I'll see him tomorrow. Well, within an hour, it had blossomed into about 500 comments about prayers for Canuck. Hopefully Canucks makes a safe return. Here's hoping the best for Canuck. That's a complete contrast for an introvert and can be a little bit nerve-wracking when you all of a sudden not only tell people what your day was like, but all of a sudden they'll start having these questions come to you and can really, really mess with your head, especially when you're such a solitary person. And he ended up disappearing one day, and he was gone for a total of 3 days. 3 days is a big concern because he's never usually gone for that length of time, because he's got his routines, he's got his home base, and so I can't go online and freak out about my worriedness about him. I can't say anything like that because I'm thinking about everybody else, that I'm not going to make everyone else feel the way that I'm feeling right now, especially if it's not warranted. So that was something that I sort of had to keep to myself, and that in itself is a very lonely existence when you have something that's going on but you can't say anything to anybody because you don't want to cause mass panic when there's possibly no need to cause any mass panic. 3/4 of the way through the second day, I ended up getting a message from a woman who was up in Whistler, and she asked me if Canuck could be up in Whistler right now. And it's a little bit of a far distance, but it did coincide with him being missing, and I said that, yeah, I guess it is a possibility. He has been gone for a couple days, and late in the third day he showed up home again. And it was nice to know that I didn't have to go up to Whistler and look for a crow. I know he's not going to give any advice or even really give any comforting words, but he provided me with such simple joys. Relationships with animals are interesting, whether it's a cat or a dog or a crow. It's a special connection that you have to an animal.
The people who are involved in Canuck's life are the ones who learn the most from this exchange. You know, his social network and social capital in many ways has enlarged because of that relationship with that bird.
Being in this world now with crows and the corvid world and whatnot, it was a very, very memorable experience to have a conversation with somebody that had an insight into why crows do the things that they do. For me, it was kind of like meeting a little bit of a rock star, you know, because he's a crow expert. This is somebody that knows stuff.
I think we underestimate what they're capable of. They all have well-developed brains because they have to recognize each other. They have to know what the cues mean. There's deception that goes on between them, all kinds of little things that we're just sort of discovering. It's one of the exciting things about being an ornithologist, is getting into the lives of these birds. So, you know, they are very clever and very capable.
So I thought we'd give you a little bit of a treat tonight. We're out at the heart of the action at the Still Creek Rookery where they're all coming to bed. This is actually my first time out at the rookery. It is an incredible experience. I know Canuck's here somewhere. I have no idea where.
It's something else, isn't it? It's incredible. So tell me, are the other crows starting to come closer, other than the his mate?
Yeah, other than the one named Cassiar, and it's really interesting how this completely wild crow is just all of a sudden getting closer and closer to me.
It's changed your life, you can see.
I thank him. I outright, out loud thank him when, like, thank you for choosing me. I don't know why you did, but here's to you.
Yeah. So tell me, now that you've seen this, what do you think?
I'm amazed by it. I think the sound is what got me more than anything. It's sort of like a crow white noise.
Yeah, I think everybody in Vancouver should come and see this.
I think so too.
This should be on the bucket list of things to do in Vancouver.
Well, especially when it's so local, you don't even have to really make much of an effort to come down here.
It's an unreal experience. Other crows can make noises and I won't even look up, but as soon as I hear his talons land on the railing, that noise puts a smile on my face that I know as soon as I turn around, he's going to be right there.
Animals have the power to do that, especially at a time where you're down or low, having a hard time in life. And Shawn must feel, I don't know, like that bird recognized something in him, maybe recognized what he was going through.
You know, we all have different reasons for suffering from any degree of depression, but I really don't know where I would be if it wasn't for Canuck. I have no clue. He came into my life at the right moment and when I needed him.
Canuck's quite the ambassador for crows. It's a wild animal that can come and go as he wants, where he wants, and he wants to be with this guy. That's just a genuine, real bond.
There are some people who would discount and say, it's just a dirty old crow. But there's a lot of us who really get it, and it's a pretty special connection that he's got. He's so fortunate to have that.
I was so happy to see how moving it is for him to have Canuck in his life. That's a beautiful thing. He's got a wild crow.
I have no idea why he hopped up on my arm or why he latched onto me, but the world started looking beautiful again. I just noticed myself looking at things a lot differently. I was a lot less judgmental, a lot less angry, a lot less sad. Some of my best times with him are walking beside him while he goes through the grass and just looks for things to eat, and there's not a single word said between us for like sometimes an hour. I'm just having the time of my life, just sort of watching him do his thing, and I sort of want him to live his life, even if that life is a combination of crow life and human life. He, for whatever reason, stepped up and helped me in a way that I can never repay him for. Now I owe him a lot.